Yeah, I mean, people to this day that knows when I started and they see how my designs have evolved. It's like, y'all remember when you were first, I was just talking to somebody probably like a month ago. It's like, I remember I bought your first shirt and see what you're doing. Like, I see what you're doing now with it. Yo, your designs is dope. He's like, yo, I really love it. And he's like, yo, I tell people all the time, my boy got a nice clothing line. Check him out. I'm like, I appreciate that.
Finally getting back to me, my art. All I want to do is art. And the other thing is that I love stories. So like to me, art isn't everything. Your art is your voice, your speaking, your connection. You can feel everyone's energy. That's your art. It's the art of living to me. So art and hustle to me is the art of living and art of it and everything.
I hope that you cut that piece right there and make it your intro and your outro, because that was dope.
Yeah.
Since I ran the streets a lot and I knew what it was, and I was like, the streets will gravitate to what resonates to them, and they will rock it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much how a lot of hip hop is so organic and becomes successful, because if the streets grab you and support you, you're good. You're golden.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted a line that would resonate with the streets. I just didn't know what it was, like what to call it, and I just started brainstorming. And I know like black, like people in the street, we wear black a lot. And I'm like, as a word to emphasize power, I'm like, yo, okay, put black on it. Mm-hmm. And it's all about, black. And then with dice, I figured, every day you're in the street, you're gambling with your life, your freedom, with the decisions you make.
Yeah.
And, it's all about chances. So once I did that correlation of all of those words I just said, I was like, entrepreneurship encompasses all those things. It's a hustle. It's gambling with the odds, the risk taking, and all of that. I'm like, okay, dice. And I was like, hustlers. Everybody loves to call themselves a hustler in hip hop.
Yeah.
But the meaning in hip hop is more associated with being in the streets, drug dealing and shit like that, as opposed to just being a hustler.
Yeah.
A hustler is an activity of something you do, not what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to put
by any means necessary.
Yeah. And like one of my shirt designs is, a hustler is someone who works smarter, not harder than other people. Mm-hmm. And I really tried to emphasize that in my depiction of what Black Dice Hustler is since I've started it.
Yeah.
And it's just, I wanted to associate the word hustler with entrepreneurship instead of the streets. Mm-hmm. So that's been my main focus with the designs of Black Dice Hustlers, which is just another collection underneath J30. So once I really started thinking about, I don't want to have 2 and 3 different clothing lines. I said, make J30 a parent company, and these are the collections under it. So I have the hip hop collection. I have Black Dice Hustlers as a collection. I have So NY as a collection, and I have J30 Signature as a collection. I also I haven't really put it out there, but I also wanted to do a sport collection called J30 Sport. So with all of that, and a female collection with like yoga pants and oversized shirts and off the shoulder sweatshirts and stuff like that, called J30 Curves. So I wanted to do all of those in just as collections underneath J30. That way, in my mind, I was looking at, if it blows up, somebody really likes it, I can sell pieces of the company off one by one instead of selling the whole company and still have ownership. Yeah. So that was my mindset of selling it off at some point in time to anybody, the highest bidder. If they really loved it, you'll pay for it. And you know what? It's, hey, give me the money. I'll give you this. I'm good. Yeah. Yeah. And that's just the way my brain was working for it, to build it, scale it, and then sell it off.
Well, that's a really smart way to think about it, because I had just watched this other podcast where that he eventually figured out, like, he was really good with the ideas and his business, and he helped all of these gyms give them the business plan of how he scaled his business into this like huge amount, profitable, you know, company. But the other gyms didn't know how to operate their gyms to be successful. So he basically sold them his plan. And then he realized, like, he was like trying to get out of the gym industry. So he's like, listen, I'll just sell you the plan, right? So he's like, all right. So his biggest number that he had in his head to sell it was about $5,000 to $6,000. So he told the guy, all right, 5,000, I'll sell it to you. And then they were like, okay. And then he's like, oh, wow. So this guy is okay with 5. Call the next guy. I'll sell it to you for 8. All right. I'll buy it for 8. So it's the idea, his plan, right? Sold it for 8. And he's like, oh shit, he's gonna buy it for 8,000. Call the next guy. Sold it for 10. Kept going and going and going. And he literally sold his idea 6 times in that day. And he just realized,
wow,
holy shit, I'm fucking sitting on a beautiful, my ideas. He's really good at like analyzing the situation, having, you know, the projection of how to do all of it. And he realized, holy shit, I can sell these ideas.
Right.
Yeah. And that, honestly, that's what you are. You have great ideas, and you had the vision to plan these J30 and Black Dice Hustlers. You had the vision of, here's the plan, and eventually I can sell it off.
Yeah, that's exactly, and that's still a plan. And you know, with Black Dice Hustlers, I believe in it so much that I started thinking 3 levels ahead, 3 steps and 3 levels ahead of myself. Like with Black Dice Hustlers, I said, you know what, with the onset of people creating web series, like web series, once it hit, like, you know, regular people and guys in the street can do web series about stuff that's going on in the hood.
Yeah,
once that became a niche, I'm like, yo, I can make a web series about Black Dice Hustlers.
Yeah.
And I based it around, you know, myself and a friend of mine at the time. I wrote 5 episodes. And it was called Black Dice Hustlers. And what my plan was to have Black Dice Hustlers, the clothing line, Black Dice Hustlers, the web series, and then Black Dice Hustlers, the compilation mixtape, basically the soundtrack to the
soundtrack to the life. Yeah,
to the web series. So it's like a 3-pronged multimedia package that, you know, anybody that can see, that knows when it comes to marketing and putting something together, is like, yo, he's got the whole package already together. Like,
and just buy it.
Is dope. Like, I don't have to put no more brain power to it, just probably some money and the production of it, and boom. So I had the music that I created, I have the episodes that I wrote, and the shirt designs. That's it. So it was like, yo, I got something on my hands. Once I realized that, I'm like, okay, I got to push Black Dice Hustlers among, you know, outside of J30. This is the brand. That's the heart of it.
Yeah, I agree, because I think when, out of all of your brands, I think I was trying to tell you to push Black Dice Hustlers, because that's the name that resonated with me the most. And I feel like that's the one that resonates with you as a brand, as your vision, as who you are. And I feel like it will hit home to more people and like attract more of a following first.
I mean, people to this day that knows when I started and they see how my designs have evolved. It's like, yo, I remember when I was just talking to somebody probably like a month ago. It's like, I remember I bought your first shirt, and to see what you're doing, like I see what you're doing now with it. Yo, your designs is dope. He's like, yo, I really love it. And he's like, yo, I tell people all the time, my boy got a nice clothing line. Check him out. I'm like, I appreciate that, because, you know, I really feel like it resonates to people, and people don't even understand the meaning behind it, but they just like the name, Black Dice Hustlers, because it resonates to them on a superficial level. They don't even go to the depth that I made it mean, but as long as it resonates whatever level, I can't pick and choose about it, but it resonates, and that's the sole intention, to let it resonate. So I'm happy with it, and it's just, you know, I just got to keep pushing it, and, you know, get it into the right hands and the right in front of the right people. And anybody that I work with, like I'm working with KO right now, trying to get some stuff together, maybe start doing some short films, like short movies and stuff like that, different video projects, with Black Dice Hustlers being the product placement in that. And anybody else who has their product placement, we can put that together. So, you know, it's just creating an ecosystem of, you know, opportunity for myself and others to be mutually beneficial. So that way it's no unbalance of giving and taking, you know? So that's really one of the biggest things that I like about Black Dice Hustles, that it could bridge some things together for people that I encounter that kind of that the name resonates with them.
Yeah, it's like hip hop. Hip hop.
Yeah. Basically, yeah.
Like a bridge.
Hip hop. It resonates like hip hop. Yep.
Yeah.
So, but Hustlers Hotline, that came with, you know, as far as podcasting concerned, you know, it's all about Black Dice Hustles, about entrepreneurship at its core. So I wanted to give people who are at whatever stage of their entrepreneurship a platform to talk about their business and their journey and how they came to start their business, what was their inspiration. So it's just a platform that I want to put out there for people to speak about themselves, their business, and their journey, stories, tips, to inspire other people who may think, well, I can't do it because I don't have the money. I don't know this, I don't know that. You know what? Sometimes you just got to start with whatever little bit you know.
And honestly, everyone has a phone, so you have no excuse. You got a phone, right?
Yeah.
You started with like nothing. Your t-shirt you had at home, a Sharpie, and that was it. That's it.
I made something out of nothing, literally.
Yep.
And that's what I want to give anybody who comes on the Hustlers Hotline. I want to give them that opportunity to sit there and talk about their journey, what inspired them to do it and where they're at now, and give tips to people who are behind them, that to say, look, you can do this too. If I did it, you can do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And also I want you to talk a little bit about how did you start the Hip Hop Foundation?
Hip Hop Foundation was, we can go on days, but I'll make it brief. It was just something that, there was a time in my life where I went through something and I just wanted to give back.
Yeah.
And something just told me to, you got to give back. And, you know, I thought, and I can't remember exactly how and when I came up with the name, but I turned it into an acronym. I love acronyms. So hip hop is short for highly inspired people holding obvious power. So once I came up with that name, I'm like, yeah, I like that. It resonates to me because I love hip hop, and just give it a name like the Hip Hop Foundation. Gives it so much more when you understand the name and then the meaning behind the name. And that's what I geared it for, is to give back to community.
That's awesome. Did someone help you get that going?
Initially, no. I had a partner for a little bit.
Yeah.
Had a partner for a little bit, but it didn't work out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, we're still friends to this day, but it just didn't work out in the beginning.
Okay.
You know, we had two different visions in a way it was forming.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of, you know, mutually disagreeing.
Okay.
So that way, you know, agree to disagree.
Okay.
And keep the friendship that we still cool, and that way, you know, nobody's going the wrong way.
Yeah.
So, you know, but that's one of the things that's near and dear to me as far as Hip Hop Foundation. You know, something I have to become more consistent with, and once I do, it'll be great to talk about what's on the table for Hip Hop Foundation.
Yeah, and when did you start a football league for it and help kids in your neighborhood and give back to them?
Yeah, I did that right before I moved back out to Long Island. Put something together for kids in the neighborhood, which was great.
How long did you do the little football league with the kids?
About 3 years. Yeah. Yep.
Well, that's awesome.
And that was dope. And I was gonna say, yeah, but in the future, I have this idea that I want to do. I don't want to put it out there yet, but I have this idea.
Not until you trademark it.
Right. It's for the Hip Hop Foundation, which I think would be
that's a tipper, but make sure if you got an idea, make sure you trademark it,
put it out there.
Yeah.
Non-disclosure agreements are important.
And also turn it into an LLC.
Non-disclosure agreements are important. Don't share your ideas unless somebody's signing a paper.
Yeah.
Everything is intellectual property, and that's where the value is.
Yeah.
Intellectual property.
And start an LLC, right?
Yeah, and that's one of the things. As I'm growing and learning new stuff in this entrepreneurial space, especially in real estate.
Yeah.
And everything that encompasses real estate, it's just not about selling a house.
Yeah.
It's about knowing finances, knowing taxes, knowing the tax benefits on how people become wealthy, because it's not about you just make $1 million. Honestly, I want to say it's easy, but it's not far-fetched to make $1 million. You just got to have the right system that you can work within and do that consistently and not screw the money up. That's all it is. But it's about financial habits. And one of the things that I learned was the habits of the wealthy are pretty basic. Like if you make $100,
you invest it.
Yeah. Or you invest 75.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things I learned, like this may be controversial to some, but I learned that although, and I don't like to get into too much politics, but with Donald Trump becoming president, I realized them attacking him for not paying taxes is sort of a smokescreen. People may get upset about it. Anti-Trump supporters. But you gotta, at the end of the day, you gotta admit he's smart for doing what he did. Because he knows the US government takes too much from everybody. And you have no control over it to a certain degree, unless you're smart enough to own a business or businesses. And he's learned that he has people around him that are smarter than him. That does exactly what he wants them to do. And he pays less taxes. If he pays $700 in taxes, that's just because it is what it is.
I mean, the government helps people who have businesses.
Yeah. And, with my interest in real estate, I've been to plenty seminars, and they say, wouldn't you want to save money on taxes that the government takes from you?
Yeah.
That's why you need to have a business and transition your regular life into your business life. Yeah. And it's pretty easy to do. You just got to know what to do.
Yeah.
So, and that's like one of the things I would talk to anybody about on the Hustlers Hotline, is like giving business tips, collecting business tips from anybody that I come across, and making it available to say, give people the information to get their power of controlling their money and their destiny for becoming wealthier than where they are right now, because all it is decisions and habits.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? Is to help everybody who's hearing these podcasts, is to spread the knowledge. And if your lessons that you learned can help somebody else, I think it's all beneficial.
Yeah, you got to trickle down the information. You can't hoard information. It's like, you can't learn how to do something and not tell a few people how to do it too.
Yeah.
That's what it's for. Because somebody told you. Yeah, somebody told you. They didn't have to tell you, but you got to tell somebody and encourage the person that you're telling. Just, how you pay me back, to make sure you tell 2 or 3 people too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
Finally getting back to me, my art. All I want to do is art. And the other thing is that I love stories. So like, to me, art isn't everything. Your art is your voice, your speaking, your connection. You can feel everyone's energy. That's your art. It's the art of living to me. So art and hustle to me is the art of living and art of it and everything.
I hope that you cut that piece right there and make it your intro and your outro, because that was dope.